Welcome to Brainstorm MTG. I'm ELD, and this is Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Belt Games in Bellingham, Mass. This is round number 3 of our ELD Legacy Open, our monthly 1K usually or better. We give out 100% of the entry fees. This time the prize pool, $1,000 in store credit, plus the champion getting this leather playmat, one of a kind, to immortalize their victory, and a spot on our wall of legends right over there next to the entrance. Every ELD Open tournament winner gets a spot there. That is a permanent part of the decor of the store. Each year we will retire the previous year's winners up to the ceiling and higher up on the wall as a permanent fixture, and hopefully that will go all the way around the store in time. We have Ponder here for Ben on Snow Control, a deck that's going to be looking to use Arkham's Astrolabe to fix its mana while having a rock-solid mana base. Arnold, on the other hand, Blue-Red Delver, losing out a little bit on Price of Progress. Ben likely to have dual lands in there, but his game plan is going to be basic lands as early and often as possible. It's also going to stop Wasteland from setting him back, as his deck, perhaps the mana greedier of the two, certainly does better the more mana that it has. More and more options. Brainstorm here being responded to with a fetch by Arnold. This is turn 2. So far, no second land drop, so might have been trying to see if there's a Spell Pierce or Daze as a consideration. And 2 cards going on top of the library. Fetch land, best combo in the game, assembled, Brainstorm plus fetch land. And it looks like a basic plains into Arkham's Astrolabe. So with basic lands, at this point, he can cast pretty much anything he wants. Dreadhorde Arcanist with nothing to flash back yet. Looks like a Brazen Borrower in Arnold's hand. We'll see if any more Thronabell Drain cards work their way in here. So far, we've seen the Bone Crusher Giant, I believe it's called. Narset, that prompts a Force of Will, another somewhat recent printing. For more of the Spark, she would really put a bad spin on a card like Brainstorm, going from draw 3, put 2 back, to just put 2 cards from your hand on top of your back on top of your library. That would be an absolute blowout. And Brainstorm immediately getting double duty. Second time around, not nearly as good. And now another Dreadhorde Arcanist with no cantrips in the graveyard. This is kind of rough in that even if Ben draws some spot removal, it's actually not the best. It doesn't really stop the true damage, which is the recursion of the cantrips, the card advantage being generated by the Arcanist. So, multiple Dreadhorde Arcanists actually not very good, but might line up okay if Ben does have like a Swords to Plowshares here, because he's really going to want a sweeper, as just getting rid of one of these. I mean, one of them is basically just a 1/3. The other one is going to be hoping to flash stuff back, and actually nothing to flash back here, so just getting in for 2, and that is pretty rough. Wasteland for Arnold, staring at a bunch of basic lands. Finally, the Tundra comes down, and we have a 4-mana Supreme Verdict. So, taking care of both of those Dreadhorde Arcanists. Wasteland takes out that Tundra, and another Arcanist coming down. Arkham's Astrolabe enabling a Swords to Plowshares, and Arnold actually forcing that. Jace the Mind Sculptor, and man, that feels like a card that maybe Force of Will would have felt better on. This Arcanist not going to be able to take out this Jace very easily. Swinging for 1 a turn, not going to do it. And no cantrips in the bin right now. Whew. The tough decision as a Delver player You don't want to be in a situation where you don't have any creatures on board versus a control deck like this, but this Jace really threatening to run away with the game. Two back, a fetch land, just really improving the card quality here. Force of negation, showing the strength of that extra line of text. Exile the spell if it's countered. Not only is that lightning bolt swatted aside, but Dreadhorde Arcanist can't bring it back. And now True Name Nemesis. And that gets a vanilla counter spell. Ben with all the answers here under very little pressure. Just a 1/3 for 2 mana. Worst case scenario for Arnold. Ben with that Astrolabe untapped. Couple of mana. That Dreadhorde doesn't even bother trying to swing. That extra point not really going to be the difference in all likelihood. And man, that would be a blowout if Ben did have a response to actually just eat the Arcanist. Swords to Plowshares gets it out of the way. Brings some more monks to the party. And a Delver of Secrets, just far too little, too late here for Arnold. We're going to be moving on to game number 2 shortly. Snapcaster, Swords to Plowshares off of that Arkham's Astrolabe, filtering that blue mana into the white mana necessary. Ben's mana base just rock solid there. Thanks to the Astrolabe, able to cast anything you wanted at any time, while getting an extra card out of it, pumping the monk. I mean, the card just does so much work. So Ben taking down game number 1 here. And it took a little bit of time off the clock. I'm going to guess probably about 15 minutes. So Arnold not too bad here as far as clock management goes. It is really a bad spot to lose a game 1 that takes forever versus a control deck when you're playing some type of aggro strategy. Puts you in kind of a situation where you have to win 2 quick games. You don't have time for like a couple of really tough back and forth games in that losing effort. But really, as bad as that was, certainly not obvious that Arnold should have scooped. We'll see if this ends up having time issues. I would not be overly critical of somebody scooping, and I mean, several turns back. I mean, when the Jace the Mind Sculptor started getting out of hand, I mean, that was certainly the beginning of the area where scooping might have been a consideration. Arnold making some adjustments there. I believe Daze was the card considered. Daze so much better on the play than it is on the draw. Of course, you actually have an island down during your opponent's first turn, which is substantially more important in the kind of reanimator style matchups that they're going to be doing something busted on the first turn. But you're also able to defend your Delver of Secrets against counter magic, spot removal. So Arnold with an ideal opening here so far, leading out with Delver of Secrets. Ben with his ideal opening of Arkham's Astrolabe. And man, Arnold's getting an aggressive draw going here. Lightning Bolt, swinging for 3. We saw Supreme Verdict game number 1. Young Pyromancer, will it be fast enough here? Man, if he's got some cantrips to go along with this, it's very possible Ben could be dead with a Supreme Verdict in hand. This really going well for Arnold. Another land, swinging for 5 now. Ponder, creating an elemental. Ooh, a Delver of Secrets there. And he'll be able to make sure that it stacks up. Delver of Secrets as well. So really, Ben going to be looking at 9 damage here if it flips. He's at 11. He can fetch down to 10. And Arnold's got that lightning bolt in hand, so this is likely to be it here. This is an absolute mess. What a perfect start here for Arnold. Pondering. He takes a look. He shuffles. It is not good enough. But there's not a lot that could get him out of this from here. Says go. Flips a Force of Will. And that's going to be able to protect this lightning bolt. Looks like we're going to be going on to game number 3. Brainstorm. Oh my goodness. Terminus. Blind off the top. Wow. I didn't even know he was running that. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Arkham's Astrolabe allowing the white mana. Wow. So much life was just saved there. That Force of Will no longer even a desirable card. Arnold needs some threats because his entire board was just KO'd with that blind Terminus. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. 2 mana. Bone Crusher Giant, new from Eldraine. Wow. That is brutal. Gonna go ahead and put Ben down to 8. He takes a look at the hand, considering whether or not to counter this. He does have the Force of Will. It is a 4/3. When it gets sworded, when it gets hit with the Swords to Plowshares, Ben will take an additional 2 damage. He's letting it happen. Saving that counterspell for something better. Three mana Teferi Time Raveler and a Lightning Bolt in response. We're going to see Astrolabe bounced and then replayed. Does he have the mana for that? This is all in response to the Teferi. Hitting, oh, and he hit Ponder. Look at that, the Brainstorm in hand. 50-50 shot. Arkham's Astrolabe bounced and then replayed. And now a Dreadhorde Arcanist with that Lightning Bolt in the graveyard. Lightning Bolt at Ben's face, so that represents lethal damage here with the Arcanist just as a 1 power attacker. Won't be able to flash anything back. So Ben gonna go ahead and Force a Will, giving himself a little bit of a life total to play with. Teferi ticking up. And Monastery Mentor, and that certainly trumps a 1/3 in this situation. Bonecrusher Giant can be targeted once here. What a close game here. Teferi ticking up. Any instant here will lead to this Dreadhorde Arcanist dying and this Bonecrusher Giant being chump blocked. Does he have anything he can play at instant speed? Brainstorm. And Teferi going to allow for potentially a lot more spells to be played. We've got 1 token. Looks like probably a chump block. Oh, magmatic sinkhole. And that's going to take out the Dreadhorde Arcanist. And then a double block on the Bone Crusher Giant. Young Pyromancer coming down. That one can be Swords to Plowshares without too much concern. And the monks continuing to grow. Thanks to that Swords to Plowshares. Rebuilding both of them and traded in for that Bone Crusher Giant. Now 2 monks on board, 1 left behind. The Fury needs to be ticking up here eventually. Oh, and now another Monastery Mentor. Hardcast Force of Will on a Ponder. And that actually seals the deal. So Ben and Arnold put on an absolute classic matchup here. What an exciting game. I hope you enjoyed it as well. I look forward to seeing the top 8. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.